Yo, what's up guys, it's Breton from the future and I got a little something that I have to say before this video starts. So if you're not interested in a couple updates and some things here and there, you can just skip to this time and get right into the video topic. Alright, anyways, thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. Off one video, the amount of love that you guys have shared has been absolutely insane. Thank you everyone who came from my other channel to explore this with me and see this side of me. And thank you to all the new subscribers who have come along. Thank you for joining the ride. You guys are much appreciated. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, when I first started this channel, I wasn't really expecting much. This was just kind of a way for me to kind of air my thoughts out about certain things. Like, I like Sonic a lot. It's one of my favorite franchises that I've grown up with, and it's always been there throughout my life. And you know, with my music that I make, if you guys don't know, I have a channel called Breton Boy where I make music. And with that channel, I often rap about my favorite anime and manga and video games and all that kinds of stuff. But I don't get to really do Sonic content as much as I would like to. So I kind of wanted a separate outlet because that's one way of expressing, you know, my enjoyment for things. I make references to it, I embrace it, it's in my music, it's in, you know, that type of stuff that I do. But I don't really get to delve into it. I don't really get to go deep and analyze and really share my thoughts and opinions of, you know, all these franchises and all these things I enjoy. So that's why I wanted to make this channel. So for it to get, you know, as much traction as it has on the first video, I'm not expecting that to necessarily continue, but you know, you guys have been so awesome. And I will say this, if we get 250 subscribers before the end of this weekend, I will drop another video during the week. Does that sound good? Alright, but yeah, I want to give a shout out to everyone here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you for enjoying the first video. Here is the second video of many more to come. I have like 6 in the back. If you're in my Discord, oh yeah, I have a new Discord by the way. Make sure you join. The link will be in the description. It's a fun place. I'm gonna talk about my music, talk about, you know, these videos that I make, talk about my streams as well. And it's kind of gonna be the hub for all the content I do. And we could just talk about fun stuff in general. So if you want to talk more, if you have a certain thing that I mentioned in a video that you want to kind of like discuss more and not just in the comment section, I have a Discord as well. So there's that. Anyways, I think you guys, thank you for watching this part. I would have put it at the end, but I really wanted to just kind of get the people who really care about the channel, you know? Just kind of talk to you guys first before I then go on to the main topic at hand. Alright. Well, thank you guys so much. And on with the video. Listen, I know for a fact I'm not the only one thinking this. Sonic the Hedgehog needs an anime. Do you know, at the time of recording of this video, Sonic X came out over 20 plus years ago. It came out in 2003. 2003! It started around when Sonic Heroes came out and it ended before Sonic 06 even came out. Since then, anime has progressed a long way. If you look at all the animation studios we have now, we've got Mappa, we've got Studio Trigger, we've got Studio Bones. So many top tier studios that could do an absolute wonder with a franchise like Sonic. And especially at a time like this, when we've just seen how good Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings has been, and that team, what they did, it's time. It's about time now. We need a full show. Come on, guys. Now, as far as I can tell, the studio behind Sonic X Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings was a studio called Studio Gigex. And this is like their first major piece of animation work, from what I could tell. I saw they also worked on something for like another game. They were involved with a bunch of other studios and they worked on a trailer or something. But nothing to the magnitude of a 3-episode special series for something as big as the Sonic franchise. And to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, they did a great job. Their use of 3D models was quite interesting, but they really made it work in the art style. Like, it just was so visually pleasing to look at. And the art direction, just the direction in general, the voice direction, the music, everything was top tier. I don't know how much of that was the Studio Gigex people and how much of that was Sega and Ian Flynn, who was writing the show. But they did a phenomenal job. And honestly, if they were the ones who ended up doing a full show, I wouldn't be mad at that. I'd actually welcome that quite well, you know? I think it would be nice to embrace the talented individuals who have already felt an affinity with the series and, you know, really put their effort into making this special. Hence why I believe Tyson Hesse and Powerhouse Animation are also worth giving a shout out to. Powerhouse Animation, the studio that's worked on the openings for Sonic Origins as well as Sonic Dream Team, have done some fantastic work on the series already and could also do a potentially good job on a full series. However, are they ready to take on what would possibly be a massive scope of a project as a full Sonic anime? We don't know yet. We'd have to see. Honestly, in my opinion, to get the best out of a Sonic anime that we possibly could, we'd need to get a studio that's already familiar with working with different video games and has worked on stuff before for video games and done an anime out of that shows that they're super adept to adapting already established video game worlds and translating that into an anime that's engaging to watch. We need a studio that's potentially already worked with anthropomorphic characters so they can really get down the Sonic style. And in my opinion, a studio that is absolutely incredible when it comes to animation and presentation. For me, Sonic is all about the presentation. It's all about the style, the panache, the flavor. So we need a studio that is undeniably top tier in that regard. And while Powerhouse Animation does technically fit all these requirements, I'd like to see something a little bit different. And in my opinion, and many others' opinion that I've seen online as well, there is one main studio that is absolutely crying out for the opportunity to work on a Sonic anime. And that would be Studio Trigger. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, Studio Trigger was actually formed from former members of a studio called Studio Gainax, who worked on stuff like Fooly Cooly, Panty and Stocking, and Gurren Lagann. And some of their own works include Kill la Kill, Darling in the Franxx, Brand New Animal, and the critically acclaimed Cyberpunk Edgerunners. For me, this is already a big thumbs up to them, because some of these shows are just some of my favorite shows in general. Like, I'm a huge Kill la Kill fan, if you couldn't tell by the beanie that I wear and pictures and videos and all kinds of stuff. Kill la Kill's my thing. And Cyberpunk Edgerunners as well, when that came out, I was super into it. And Cyberpunk Edgerunners is really a good example of what I'm talking about, because it has the visual flair and identity that makes it stand out and super unique. The animation is always on point, and best of all, it's a video game adaptation, which is what we'd be looking for in the Sonic franchise. They literally took the world of Cyberpunk and they made Edgerunners, and they made something that fit into the lore, used everything correctly, but also had its own unique flair and really drew people in. And much like the Sonic movies, we need something that would draw people in from maybe a crowd that are not necessarily expected to be into it. You know, Cyberpunk Edgerunners was able to get a lot of anime fans into Cyberpunk after that. And I believe a Sonic anime by Studio Trigger would do the exact same. It would bring a lot of anime fans into the Sonic fan base. And there's a lot that overlaps in general. Sonic is very shonen minded, so I feel like a lot of anime fans would be into it anyways. And what further proves my point is one of the other points I said earlier about having worked with anthropomorphic characters already. They did Brand New Animal, which was an amazing anime, which had all these stylistic things, and they worked with anthropomorphic characters. I feel like they would be able to really take characters like Sonic and Shadow and Knuckles and absolutely completely draw out the absolute best. And plus, if there's a circumstance where they want to include humans in the anime too, I feel like Studio Trigger would be able to put that all into one art style that blends so well together that they won't look out of place. Also, this is kind of a random point, but almost every Studio Trigger anime ends with some big final battle taking place in space. And come on now, you're telling me that's not Sonic? You're telling me that's not just built, that's not a supersonic boss battle in space waiting to happen? Just look at Kill la Kill's ending, just look at Cyberpunk's ending. Those final battles. You're telling me these are not Sonic things waiting to happen? Like, come on, man. Now, one thing I will say, which it would be kind of a con in some ways, depending on what you're looking for, is that Studio Trigger doesn't really do long, ongoing anime. They kind of do their thing, they get in, do their seasons, and then they dip. So if people wanted like something like Sonic X, which was ongoing for episodes and episodes and seasons, I don't think we would get that. But what we would get is a very concise, very entertaining, possibly 24 episode absolute banger of an anime. And I think that's way past cool. Now, what would they actually make the plot? I have no idea. It could be a Team Sonic type of thing. It could be maybe something like Sonic Heroes where they bring in a whole bunch of characters. Maybe it just focuses on a small cast. You know, there's so many possibilities. That's the thing. maybe Sonic's fighting against Eggman for most of it, and then it turns out that whatever, it could just be like the plot of a regular Sonic game, but just in episodes. But honestly, I would prefer it to be its own original story and not an adaptation of any of the games. I feel like the games don't need the adaptations at this point, they're the main material. And I know some people have spoken about potentially the IDW comics being animated, and you know, having something like the Metal Virus saga be an anime. And while I think that is a cool idea, I think that the comic does a good enough job on its own telling the story. And if we were to get a Sonic anime, I would much rather they give us something that we don't already have. You know what I mean? But maybe that's just a selfish thing for me. A lot of people don't read the comics, so maybe that would, you know, give them a further incentive to read the comics and also just be more entertaining for them. Anyway, that's been my thoughts on a potential new Sonic anime. Let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below. Would you even want Studio Trigger to do it? Would you want someone else to do it? Do you think maybe it should be an ongoing something that's just always constantly going? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts below. I'll be replying and liking. And let me know if you want me to talk more about different Sonic things and anime things. I'm always looking for stuff to talk about. But yeah, it's been a great one, and I'll see you. Peace!